full power explosion can put anyone, aside into rest with your energy. What is the secret to keeping
You have more energy than all my friends combined.
We need to know.
Horrible to actually be accused of having
It's
excess energy.
fabulous.
It's like sort of halitosis or something. I mean,
It's not like ADD.
What do you do with that excess
how do
energy?
How do you do that?
I wish I knew. I mean, energy is it's a strange thing because really I'm a very lazy person by nature. I mean, I'd rather just lie on a hot bed or a hot bath or a hot bed or a hot country or something, but do nothing and just sort of free float. But it never seems to work that way. It always seems that there's something to do and there's a project you're getting involved in, and then the DJing thing keeps you very busy, and then I've got 3 bands and that takes a lot of energy too. But then you have to go home and cook and clean and do all that stuff too, and life goes on, and I've got a daughter and a granddaughter and a family, and that all takes energy too. So it's a question of sort of balancing energy and pacing yourself at the right time. And having done touring for 40 years and sort of got used to it, there are definite ways that you can sustain your energy and not deplete your energy. And then when the energy is called for, to be able to focus that energy and do the show or do 4 gigs in a row or do whatever you have to do. And it's just amazing, and it amazes me how one can actually do it. But there's that little voice behind you saying, I know you can, I know you can do it, you can do it. And if you really vibe yourself up enough, you can stretch yourself, and whatever you've done before, you can stretch it further and do more. And therefore, that's the way to keep going. Energy is eternal delight, William Blake said, and I think that's pretty accurate.
Well, do you guys sometimes sort of create a sound and then just stop and wonder, what the fuck? Where did the sound just come from? Like, it's so out of yourselves. It's so other humanly. These noises sort of appear and they almost feel, apart from you? Or is it always, something close?
Generally not. Generally they're quite well planned, the noises. And because you sort of go through the process of getting the noise, that by the time it comes out at the end, you're so used to it and you sort of know what it is. So it doesn't surprise us so much. It's the more surprising noises in the studio come from Raj when he's asleep on the sofa, I think.
It's true. My snoring has been known to carry great resonance.
So have you recorded some of his snoring?
Yeah, on the day turned to night, in fact. I set up the microphone.
I always deny that I ever fell asleep in the studio. That was my story. I always was awake. Whatever happened, I was awake.
I'd always say, Raj, you fell asleep again. Wake up, Raj!
Never. And then one day he actually had the stereo mics and he used it on a really long track with my snoring and
even then, he tried to pretend he hadn't been asleep. I said, Raj! And he woke up, grabbed his flute, saw the microphone, grabbed his flute. Yeah, I'm ready. I said, no, you've already done your take. Thank you. I've recorded you. Do you want to hear it? And there's the proof.
That's true.
Well, what is the craziest, or who is the craziest Shpongle fan that you've ever met or come in contact with? And what have they done?
I think you.
Well, I mean, we are the craziest Shpongle fans because we've always loved it from the beginning. And my dear friend Chicago, who happens to be in this room at this very moment, said to me after we'd made our first recording, he said, you guys are crazy, why don't you release this music? And we had made the music in 96 or 97, our first track, Rumors of Vapors, in Butterfly Studios. But we weren't really going to release it. We didn't think much. We just enjoyed doing it. And then we released it, and Shpongle, sort of the idea of Shpongle was formed, and everything has sort of continued from that. But it's a very slow process, as we know. It's not because we're not doing anything, it's just that it does take 2 or 3 years for us to make an album, because Cy is a perfectionist and I do a lot of sleeping, so the combination is really quite slow.
I did pee into a bottle for a fan once.
Oh yeah, we're talking about fans. I mean, there's
Crazy fans.
Yeah, you did, and that was the pee drinker, which you really want to go into that?
I don't know if I want to go into that story. Maybe she was a doctor, or maybe it was immigration giving me a drug test. I don't know.
There's loads of people who send us emails and MySpace and stuff. I just got one the other day, and the guy asked permission to Shpongle his body, and he's got Shpongle here and Shpongle there, and the girl I knew used to have an alien Shpongle on the back of her neck, and many people, I mean, people will do remarkable things because they love Shpongle and they really feel part of it, and they are part of it. So, yeah, I mean, all our fans must be fairly crazy, I would say.
Well, do you guys have any words of advice for musicians that want to follow in your footsteps, that admire you so much and kind of want to be like you?
Look, one
Any
should
advice?
never follow anybody's footsteps except to clear the carbon prints. I mean, the thing is, we all have our own path, and we all have our own destiny, and we all have our own way of doing things. Everybody's way is the right way, ultimately. It's just we've got different roads leading to the same meeting place. And you can't give advice to anyone. You tell your daughter not to do something, she'll immediately go and do it. All you can do in life is set a good example by trying to improve yourself by learning from the mistakes you've made, which we make every day. So we try the next day to eliminate those and accentuate the positive and keep picking up the pieces and go forward. But it's an eternal struggle and path that we're following, and we have to take the long-term view that Si and I have probably worked in previous bodies and previous planets on many projects. I don't know.
Right, possibly. Maybe we will again. I hope so.
Maybe we will.
I think if you're a musician, then you've got to try and be a pioneer and be original. And if you're following in anyone's footsteps, then by the very nature, you're already second place at best.
Yeah, but you've got to follow, because it's like you have to learn from anybody who's teaching. I've had loads of teachers. And
well, everyone has influences, and you can learn from people.
Yeah, but
of course,
you
can't
your own
help.
voice. It's really important. But one of the great things is chance favors the prepared mind, as Louis Pasteur said, and it means if you practice your instrument or you devote yourself to something passionately and love it, it will eventually work out and you will achieve your goals. The secret is not to let all that other mire and crap come in between you and what you're focusing on. And what you're focusing on is the thing that is going to make you happy. That's the ultimate payoff. And music happens to have almost the ultimate payoff. More than relationships, more than sex, more than a lot of things. Music is eternal and is your best friend.
If you're prepared to give up all else in your life to do music, then
I'm not. I'm not prepared yet, please.
Would you rather give up music or sex?
I'd rather give up nothing at the moment. We're trying to take on board everything and try to do it well. That's what we're trying to do.
Take it off.
Yeah, we've got to get off, and we've got to get off with each other. And, you know, we're a community, and everything we do affects everybody else, and that's why we have to be... That's why the trance scene and this whole scene that we're involved in and talking about now is much more than the music. It's much more than the Shpongle. It's much more than the gigs. What it's about is this scene that's been created around the universe of love, and the thing that binds us together, the glue that holds us together, is the music and the evolution of sound. And where we are going is to try to take sound to where it can go, and to do that you've got to work at it hard and dive deep. And we're only at the beginning. I mean, I'm 68 or something, but I really feel this is today, day one, because Shpongle's coming up live in 2 days. I mean, this is the beginning.
It's going to be amazing, yeah. What's your deepest, darkest, filthiest secret?
Oh.
If I told you, it wouldn't be a secret.
That's
Well,
true.
then, come on, I think it's time to share.
You share something, so you've got a lot more than me.
I don't know.
Yes, you do.
Stuffed full of secrets,
You've got
like a...
bagfuls of secrets I haven't even discovered. But when you tell me various things, I'm shocked always.
Well, all I will say is that in the studio, spending all that time together, one learns a lot about the other person in that close proximity. So, I could tell some of yours, I think.
No, the question was directed at you.
Well, speaking of the studio, I mean, what's it like in the studio when you guys are actually making music together? I mean, what's the relationship or the dynamic?
It's so much fun. It is probably the favourite thing that I do.
First of all, Si's got one of the great houses in the universe. It's surrounded by hundreds of year-old trees and forests, and there's no neighbors, and you look out and there are deer running around, and it's just a marvelous, spacious mansion of mirth. And great studios, roomfuls of synthesizers. And when we go down there, we usually have no visitors. You have been an exception, Serena. But basically, we are